Hey, in this video I'd like to talk to you about why ego death is a lie. Why you cannot kill your ego. It's a myth. It's not true. It's not real. So I want to explain to you why this is not the truth. And in actuality, what does the real spiritual journey feel like? But it does not involve killing or anything dying. I can tell you that much. I know this is a popular type of idea within spirituality, ego death, and maybe it's an experience a lot of people pursue, right, or chase. But the actual experience isn't like that. So I just want to explain this for you and break this down. To begin with, I just want to give you a simple explanation of what the ego is as we move along and unpack this. So all your ego is, it's like an image or an identity you have about the sort of person that you think you are. I like the word self-image. I think that's a good word for it. So everyone generally has an idea of themselves, right? This can be a name, where you were born, your ethnicity, your background, the type of job that you have, the type of friends that you have, what you like to do, what your future goals are. All of these things, we kind of mix them all together and create an identity out of them. And then we say, that's who I am. Okay, that's what I'm talking about. That's an ego or a self-image. Now, most people's egos have developed unconsciously. We don't come into the world and think, okay, I'm going to select this as part of my character. I want to have a bit of this and a bit of that. No, most of it's unconscious, right? We're just subject to programming, our environment, our family, our culture, all of that stuff just literally programs us to become a certain sort of person. When we reach a certain age, yeah, we have a little bit more sovereignty and we can pick and choose things that we think we want to be like, but we're still massively influenced, right? The programming is very, very deep. So when it comes to the spiritual journey, it's about realizing this ego or this identity I've developed over all these years of conditioning and questioning if that is actually what I am or who I am. Now, as we know, most people throughout human history have believed that's who they are. This small limited identity, right? It's worth mentioning that this small limited identity always feels like it belongs to a mind and a body. And everything outside of this mind and body is not me, but everything in this mind and body is me. That's the first level of separation that really reinforces the ego, we can say. So now you understand what your ego is. To see how you're not the ego, you need to delve a little bit deeper. So ego death comes around, or the term comes from people understanding they're not this. The way I interpret it, it looks to me like people think they can literally kill this part of themselves, this image they have, and find out what they really are. But like I've said, there's no killing involved. Before I can get to telling you why there's no killing involved, we need to explore the ego a little bit more. So there's a great practice called self-inquiry. It's quite popular within spirituality. And in self-inquiry, you really turn inward and you begin to question this identity that you've got. You get curious about it. You inquire about it. Instead of taking it for granted, instead of taking all this stuff of who you are for granted and just saying, well, that's just what I am, you just begin to question it. And I just want to show you a couple of levels to this. You need to do the practice yourself, but I hope this video will serve as some sort of guide. But there's different levels of ego. So we can say there's thoughts. Our ego is made up of a collection of thoughts, ideas. So you have an idea about yourself. You have a thought maybe about the sort of person that you are. Maybe you have a thought of yourself in different areas of life. So all these thoughts literally become almost knitted together, which create this sense of identity, right? So this identity you have of yourself, on one level, is mental. You have an image, a thought, right? So that's the first thing you'll understand. The second thing you should understand is that this ego comes with a lot of feelings and emotions, which correspond with the type of thoughts that you have, right? Example, if you feel you're an anxious person, you're thinking, oh, I'm anxious, I'm scared, I'm afraid to do this, then you will probably have the emotions that correspond to that feeling, or sorry, to that thought, to that image you have of yourself. On the opposite side is you could have someone who's confident, very, very confident. They think I'm a confident person. Naturally, emotionally, they may feel confident, right? And they reinforce each other, basically. And so what we can say is the ego is made of thoughts. It's also made of emotions and feelings. Together, they colonize the whole body. Thoughts colonize the mind, beliefs as well, and emotions and feelings colonize the body. And together, you have a separate sense of self. And that's where most people are stuck on. As you begin to inquire even deeper and deeper, though, you may say, okay, maybe I'm not my thoughts. My thoughts come and go. I don't come and go. I'm not my emotions. Again, my emotions come and go. One time I'm feeling good. The next time I'm not feeling good. But there's something here that isn't really affected. Experiences the good and the bad. What's that? So you start delving deeper and inquiring more. And what you find is at the core of the ego, it's a belief. It's literally a belief. You have a strong belief, we all do, that we're a small, separate individual self, that you have this limited identity. And that belief is very, very strong because it's been conditioned into us from the moment we come into this world, right? It's constantly being reinforced on us all the time, 24/7. And it's a very difficult belief to break, right? This is why people fear death, because death would mean the dissolution of that belief, right? But it's just a belief. You believe it. Because you believe it, you give it all your energy, you give it all your awareness, all your consciousness, and you energize it. And so everything you experience comes through that belief. The belief that you're a separate individual. But like I said, there's decades of conditioning behind that belief. And this is ultimately why you cannot kill your ego, why you cannot have an ego death. Why? Because you cannot kill a belief. You cannot kill a thought. You can't kill feelings. They're nothing. How can you kill thoughts? How can thoughts die? How can a belief die? So that's why I say you cannot kill your ego. There's no such thing as ego death. All there is there's a seeing. There's an awakening. There's a realization of seeing through this ego, right? Seeing that it's just a belief. And on top of this belief, there's emotions and there's thoughts. But there's no killing. There's nothing to kill. You just got to see. Seeing is enough. You cannot kill something that does not exist, right? Surely something has to actually have some sort of form and actually be alive before you can kill it. But it's a fallacy. I used to believe I could kill my ego. You can't. You can just wake up and see that you're not it. And that's all you need to do. That's all. There's no killing required. When you see that, naturally, over time, because it will take time, because like I said, the belief in it is so strong and it's constantly being reinforced. Over time, though, it'll fall away. It just dissolves. That's it. It just dissolves. You realize it was nothing all along. It was like an illusion that you were believing in. And again, can you kill an illusion? Not really. Not at all. It's just an illusion. So that's really why you cannot kill your ego. People might have certain experiences, maybe on psychedelics, and you have this breakthrough moment where you get literally beyond your ego. And yeah, you can call that an ego death in that moment, I guess. But 9 times out of 10, or 99% of the time, you come out with that experience and your ego's back. I think very few people have that type of awakening where the ego just leaves them in one instant and never returns. The only one that I know of that comes to mind is maybe Eckhart Tolle. If you're familiar with his story, his ego just left him in one go. I think it's very, very rare for that to happen. I guess in that instance, you could call it an ego death, but otherwise it's just a seeing, a realization. And over time, the ego just falls away, dissolves. Okay, so I hope this helps you. I would suggest you start doing things like self-inquiry and really looking deeper into your experiencing and questioning all these different aspects of who you think you are and seeing if it's actually real. I'm pretty convinced you're going to find out where it isn't. And if you do find something you think's real, just keep inquiring about it. See what lies beyond it. Okay? So that's all I've got for you today. Thanks for watching. God bless.